Hi, and welcome to Action Figure Breakdown, episode number 12. My name is Seth, back here with you again. We're here to talk about some figs, as well as do the live drawing after this. I'm probably you guys are gonna see the live drawing before this video posts. This video will probably post up after the live drawing, so stay tuned for that. But today we're going to be talking about several figures and then get to our next giveaway that we're going to do that I'm going to keep open for 2 weeks because it's that big and that exciting. So today we are going to take a look at 5 different figures from a couple of different BAF waves. I haven't completed a new BAF in a while, so we're going to kind of just take a look at some figures I picked up on the side. So first up is we've got Bullseye here. We're going to take a look at him. And we've also got, and excuse me for the terrible box, but I found this guy on clearance. We've got the Invincible Iron Man right there. And we do have an Iron Man already, but this is a comic style version that I've been very excited to take a look at. We've also going to take a look at Doctor Strange right here. So last video we did the Hulkbuster, and we talked about Doctor Strange without a cape. So here we've got Doctor Strange, and as you can see, he has his cape, which is super exciting. So we're going to take a look at that. And if you've been following along on our Facebook and Instagram, you'll also know that we've posted up some blacklight shots of that Doctor Strange, which look super awesome. So if you haven't checked those out, check those out. It's at Action Figure Breakdown on both the Facebook and the Instagram. We're posting photos all the time, and we talk about our giveaways and stuff like that, so check us out on that as well. Next up on the list to check out today, we're going to take a look at Silk. So this is a hookup from a friend, Rocky Turner. Bullseye was also a hookup from a friend, Jeremy Clemens. We swung a cool trade for that one. And then Rocky and I swung a cool trade for Silk and a Daredevil. And we'll take a look at that Daredevil in our next video. But today we're going to take a look at her. And then, as well, I'd like to talk about a new figure I just got from a brand new wave that just came out. And this is going to be Genis-Vell. Super excited about this figure. I've got a couple things to talk about with this new wave from the Captain Marvel movie. I'm not an MCU guy. I did pick up the Grey Gargoyle, but this is a comic style fig, so super excited about that. But with this new wave comes some new things, and we're going to go ahead and jump into that right away, actually. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the packaging that we traditionally get on the Marvel Legends. Let's go ahead and start out with the other one here. Okay, so this is a Silk from the Spider-Man Marvel Space Venom wave. This has pretty much been the standard. We've got the package comes out of the sleeve here, the cellophane, and then the package has a nice, as you guys can see from the lighting there, cool window. All right, so that is pretty neat. I dig that. However, it seems as though we've made a change in this formula. And I don't know, I've heard rumors that this is to stop figure swappers, so the people who put the wrong figure in the wrong box and then return it to Walmart or wherever they got it in order to cop the loose fig without having to pay for it. They do it with Build-A-Figure parts in particular. So what I've heard is that this is to deter that. I don't know how it deters it any differently. So what they've done with the new packaging here is we're going to go ahead and take this box out of its sleeve. And similarly, yep, it's got a box and a sleeve. We've got the cellophane, but we don't have a window anymore. And as you guys saw, it looked like it had a window. So what we've got here is actually 2 pieces of cellophane, and this one covers it. It fits nicely inside the box here, like that. And then we've got a windowless box, which in theory you could use for a display, but I think it kind of, I don't know, I think it would look lame. But that's just me. Nothing super important about it. Like I said, I don't see how it's going to deter figure swappers, because they'll just do it the exact same way they've been doing it, which is taking the sleeve out and then swapping the pieces for they want. But the only way you can really do it, in my opinion, would be to go back to the old blister cards, like that Spider-Man over there. But I hate those because, like I said, I like to repackage the figures if I want, or they're good for storage or other stuff like that. So I dig the packaging as it was. I don't hate the new packaging either. In particular, it's not, like I said, really any different. But figure swappers, just knock it off. Cut it out. Don't make them go back to blister packaging, please. I hate blister packaging. It's the worst. But anyway, all right, so let's get on to the figs. Real quick, we'll start with Bullseye. Okay, so like I said, Bullseye was a hookup from my buddy Jeremy Clemens. Shout out to Jeremy for this awesome, awesome Bullseye we got right here. Let's get a good shot of his face. Let's see if we can zoom in nice there. Almost got the hang of this camera. If not, guys, want to donate to a new camera, feel free. So anyway, we got Bullseye here, and I got some pretty good paint apps on this guy. The eyes look pretty good, in my opinion. If I can get this camera to zoom in. I don't think it's gonna, though. Okay, so without just wasting too much more time on that. As you can see, Bullseye comes with some cool accessories. He's got what look like claws, but they're not. So he comes with a couple hand options as well. And I'll grab those real quick, and we'll talk about those. So he comes with the Bang Bang, make a pistol gun option, which is pretty cool. And he also comes with another gun holding hand option for that same hand. So these are both left hand options to have an alternate to this option right here, which is pretty cool. It's him throwing knives. And if we go ahead and take this out, I don't know if you guys can see this very clearly, but there's a transparent piece there. It's not supposed to be webbing. It's kind of just supposed to be clear and make it look like he's just throwing the knives. So that's pretty cool in my opinion. Again, it's plastic, so it's not perfectly molded, but a little bit of the hot water trick apparently should work for that right there. And then you just throw it back in some cold water and it should freeze in position. But that's not terrible as is. He also, as you guys saw, comes with a couple other accessories. He comes with this cool gun, pretty standard Marvel Legends gun here, pistol. And he also comes with, as you guys can see, this cool belt. And on the back of his belt there, this is the back side of the thing, he's got a holster which will hold that gun if you don't want him to hold it in his hand. He's got a cool knife. And as I wished with the Captain America, this knife detaches. So that's pretty dope. Pretty sick. Okay, and it goes right in the back there. And he can also hold that in one hand and then finger gun with the left. So that's pretty cool. But what this Bullseye is particularly famous for is this really sick screaming head here. All right, there's a good shot of that guy. Okay, so I got some pretty good paint apps on him, as you guys can see. He's got the Bullseye imprinted on his face, or on his forehead. His mouth's wide open, emoting. This is a super, super awesome piece right here. I'm going to rock it with the original costume head on, just because I dig it. Let's see if we can get a good shot of those paint apps. Nope, camera hates me. Okay, so anyway, the Screaming Head, super cool, super awesome. Really big fan of that. Really just a big fan of the Bullseye figure in general. He's going to go really well with that Daredevil figure we're going to take a look at in our next episode. So we're going to head and squeeze the hand back in here and move on. So big shout out real quick. Thank you to Jeremy Clemens for swinging that trade. And we're going to move on to our next fig, who was actually also swinging a trade. And that is going to be the Silk figure. And this figure is just stunningly gorgeous. One of my favorite figures. Probably one of the least liked Marvel characters when she first came out. Her relationship with Pete was thought of as very contrived, and people were mad that she had her powers for basically less time than him and was way better with them. And I don't know. To me, that was just a bunch of salty haters. But so they took her out of Pete's life. They did the breakup in the comics. And since she's been taken over by other writers, people are huge fans of this figure. So she's been super hard to come by. We're really happy that Rocky was able to swing a trade with us for her. As you guys saw in those shots, she's got some pretty awesome paint apps as well. She's got the S for Silk right there on her chest. We didn't talk about articulation with Bullseye, so I'll go over it real quick after we do articulation for her. So she comes with the standard Silk head with the mask on right here. She also came with what was also a reason she was super sought after for a while, was an alternate head option, which is absolutely stunning as well. Let's go ahead and put the mask down on that one. We'll go ahead and squeeze this bad boy on. And so this is silk maskless. And as you can see, she's, again, I got really good paint apps. I was super excited about that. But she's gorgeous. I mean, she looks just like, it's a perfect, like, people, customizers are using this for a Laura head. X23, if you're unfamiliar with me just saying the word Laura. So yeah, so this, she was pretty highly sought after figure right here. She's stunning, absolutely, and it's, I don't know, this is just a really cool figure to have. Talk about articulation real quick, and then we'll jump back to Bullseye's articulation. So you got standard female articulation right here. She is from the Space Venom wave, so she's not super articulate. Kind of a neat ab crunch right here. Since she's got a narrow little waist, her top pivot's pretty good. She's got good shoulder articulation, standard for the females. Ball and socket, same thing with the elbows. Let's get a good shot into that there. Okay, so no double hinge, but it's got a good 360 motion there. The hips, the joints I got were pretty nice and tight. Paint was done well on them as well. So we got a thigh pivot here, double hinge knee for the female. She's got the cool ankle pivot, which I like. Another cool thing on her, they painted her feet, which is pretty cool. She's got gray bottoms as well. So yeah, guys, so there's Silk. Super excited to have this figure. Super hard to come by, super expensive on the third-party market. So big shout out to Rocky Turner for hooking up with this one. Thank you. Really cool to have her on the shelf. So moving on to our next figure. Let's move on to a figure we already have on the shelf. Or I don't know if I've shown you guys. This is our Iron Man fig. So I have the Iron Man figure from Infinity War, which is a cool figure. I dig it. It's kind of got a narrower bead than the other figure. Well, it's like a straighter, more streamlined armor than the other ones, which I dig. And Marvel seemed to have done that again, following in the footsteps of the comic, where Tony's armor gets a lot more streamlined and tech, like nanotech almost. A lot of people's biggest complaint with this figure was that he seems skinny, which seems like a pretty legit complaint. So let's go ahead and take a look at him. And this is our Invincible Iron Man here. And as you guys can see, I've got the Tony Stark head on there. We'll go ahead and take a look at the Iron Man head. And so I dig this head a lot. This is right before Ironheart takes over. So I feel like this would be a good custom piece for that as well. If you wanted to do a Riri Ironheart figure. That's super cool looking. Again, pointier, a little bit more streamlined. Let's go ahead and pop it on so you guys can see what it looks like on the fig. And so people's basic complaint with this figure was that Tony seems real skinny. And I'm inclined to agree, but I don't think that it's his waist or his chest per se, because if you look at him from the back, he doesn't look any different in terms of buck than a standard Iron Man figure. I think where the difference is what people are complaining about is up here in his shoulders, where they seem to be, the joints are more divoted, it seems like, which is cool. I don't hate it. It seems to give him more flexibility in terms of like how you're turning his arm or moving it around or shooting backwards or whatnot. That was actually kind of cool looking. Yeah. So anyway, there's that. But like I said, I understand people's complaint that he kind of looks skinnier, but if you put him shoulders down, like if they made these shoulder pads, I don't know, independently moving, I get how they're molded on there. Whatevs. Anyway, no big deal. I dig him. I think he looks awesome. So let's talk about the articulation real quick. So neat thing about Iron Man's, usually they only have the upper pivot articulation. They gave this one an ab crunch. So maybe that's another reason they made him skinnier, is everybody was complaining, oh, he doesn't have an ab crunch. So there you go, guys. Iron Man has an ab crunch. That's pretty neat. They also made it skeletal, and they molded it all the way up to the back, so when you pivot him forward, he's doing that. And then on the front side, same thing with the molds. They go all the way up, which is real. Wow, good detail, Hasbro. So points to Hasbro for that one. Quit complaining, guys. Good whiners. So anyway, hip pivot. Okay, so we got multiple points of articulation on Iron Man's torso. We've got what is basically the standard Marvel Legends arm pivot, bicep, shoulders, double hinged knee, or double hinged elbows rather, from the back there. Bicep pivot, like I said. Hands. Okay, so Tony came with some cool hand options. Tony comes with the open hand, which you can leave open like that, or put the blaster in, which obviously I put the blaster in because it looks cool. Tony also comes with a couple, or another fist option, as you saw. So you can do 2 fists for Tone. Let's see, back that up a little bit there. There we go. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Or you can do 2 open hands. So basically, it was just like 1 of each extra hand. I do 1 of each because Tony also came with another cool accessory. Let's really quick put these hands back on. I always have to do this every time I pull my hand up and figure out which way I'm doing this. Okay, all right, there we go. I got it. I don't know my left from my right, but I know where my thumb is. All right. Okay, I think those are back in. All right, so there's his open hands. Okay, so Fatone came with another cool accessory, which is this arm cannon kind of thing here. So you can throw it on his forearm here. It kind of clicks in very, like, not super snug, but it's got the hole in it, so you can also do the blast action. She's got a cool blaster, and I do it with the fist, and then he's got the thing on the arm cannon. I don't feel like switching out the hands for a 4th time. But there you go, guys. There's our Iron Man. So let's talk about legs, bottom half articulation real quick. Thigh pivot, cool, double hinge knee. Pretty standard for a Marvel Legends fig, but not for an Iron Man. Well, yeah, no, I went back and looked at my Iron Mans. They all have double hinge knees. It's just in weird positions. They didn't do the gear dealy like they usually do in the back of the legs, like I've been talking about how I like, so that kind of stinks. But again, this is a smoother, streamlined Iron Man. No shin pivot, but that's normal for an Iron Man. Feet, pretty standard. But again, what's cool about this one is they're not all, the armor doesn't flare out. It's not bell-bottom ankle armor. So you have really good pivot at the feet, which is super nice. And I think, okay, yeah, my Infinity War Iron Man has that. You guys know my War Machine and my Marvel Now Iron Man don't have that, and that's super annoying. Que sera, sera. That's why I got this guy, because I think he looks cool. So anyway, there's our Invincible Iron Man from the recent Marvel comic line. And now we're going to get into another figure, which I wasn't sure if I was going to get this wave. So this is Genis-Vell from those boxes we were talking about earlier. And he's a comic figure, so I was thinking about getting him, but I wasn't sure about, like, I thought this was going to be a low priority wave for me. And I saw this guy on the shelf, and I was so pumped to get him. So this is Genis-Vell, guys. I don't know too much about him from the comics. I know the armbands that he's got here, which are super cool, are part of where he gets his power. I know he's kind of Kree. I'm going to guess that he's Kree-based, based off of his look and his name and his armor that he's wearing here. It comes with a cool spacey style Marvel pistol. No hand options here, but he's got the cool circle on his chest and this belt kind of thing, grenadier or bandolier thing he's got going on across his chest. It's pretty cool. He also comes with a holster for his gun. It's kind of molded onto his leg, but no big deal. Because like I said, you still get the thigh pivot right here. So that, no big deal. But anyway, all right, so that's that figure. I think what's really cool about this figure, though, guys, is I don't know if you've seen it in the shots or from the light, but there you go. Yeah, so those flecks, it's like they took a black translucent plastic mold and then just put glitter in it. And I'm not usually a glitter guy. Like, I don't dig glitter. But it gives this guy this starry, spacey effect that's so cool looking. There we go. There's a good shot. So yeah, guys, there's Genis-Vell. Unfortunately, the helmet doesn't come off. I'm sure you can swap heads if you want. But yeah, the armbands don't really move either. They're not. It doesn't seem like they're molded on, but I don't want to screw them because I kind of like them in the place they're in. Real quick articulation. Oh, so real quick, shoulders. The articulation on the shoulders kind of stinks. These shoulder pads are molded onto or they're glued on or whatever you want to call it to the arm. So you get a little bit of up and down, and as you can see, the plastic flexes a little bit right there. But what are you going to do about that? Anyway, like I said, he's a really cool looking fig. Bicep pivot, double hinged elbows for you guys. There you go. Double hinge knee. I mentioned it earlier. We got the thigh pivot. Really cool metallic paint here. So another cool thing, this guy gets the shin pivot. Foot pivot, up and down, and then we've got ankle as well. So that's pretty cool. He's got his neck's on a hinge. Not a big one, but it's a good joint, so it's pretty cool. His helmet doesn't come off, which kind of stinks, but whatever, no big deal. This is a really cool looking fig. I was super stoked to get him. He was, as soon as I saw him on the shelf, I was like, man, I gotta have this guy. He just looks cool. So yeah, he goes right on my Black Bolt shelf, which is kind of my cosmic Fantastic Four shelf. I know Black Bolt's not technically cosmic, but he's a badass and he can handle himself out there. He knows those people. So anyway, here we go, guys. So our next figure is going to be the Doctor Strange fig. And last time we looked at a Doctor Strange fig, it was Doctor Strange sans cape. So no cape for that Doctor Strange. I didn't hate it. I wasn't particularly in love with it. It helped me build my Hulkbuster wave, and it also was a Doctor Strange for my shelf, so that was cool. But I got this guy instead. I ran into him, and I was super cool. Super stoked about getting him. He kind of starts me on the Dormammu wave, which I'd rather get the Book of Ashanti Dormammu and some of the other figures that are in that box, and particularly that Hela. But this is a really cool piece right here, guys. So not a lot of options with this guy other than the cape. He comes with the 2 spell effects, which is super cool. No hand options, unfortunately. We've got those hands again in Spider-Man position or Doctor Strange position, since they're like that. But again, with my issue with this figure, they didn't give him molded out wrists on this one, so it was a little bit easier to get the hands out and then get these spell effects on the wrist, which was super nice. So they look a little bit better. They hold on a little bit better. And like I said, if you guys checked out our Instagram page and you guys saw this figure on our Instagram page, he looked amazing in the black light. These spell effects light up like they're real magic. It looks so cool. If you want, you can take the cape off this guy. Let's go ahead and pop his head off. I actually took the cape off to get him out of the package because the cape's so big and I didn't want to rip everything. So you go ahead and take the cape off. And essentially, he's the same figure, mold and everything, as the previous figure. The only difference that you'll notice in the other figure is the paint job right here on the neck. I don't think this circle thing's here. I think it's just one straight line. So it's 3 straight lines on the other figure. This one doesn't have that 3rd straight line. It's kind of got that crescent right there, but that's so the cape fits nicely. Let's take a look at the cape solo. The cape's pretty flexible, super cool. Let's get the neat details. Let's see if we get that. Like the engraving and molding, and there you go, good shot. Engraving and molding on the side of the cape, which is pretty neat. It's got the nice pointed back, which I like. Paint could have been a little bit better here at the tops, but I'm not going to complain too much. It's got that nice looking Eye of Agamotto right there on his chest, which is super cool. This is an awesome figure. This is way better looking than the original. This is how they should have done him the first time around, which is super cool. We'll talk about articulation here real quick. So we'll just take a look at the neck peg since I'm taking it off to put the cape back on. It is on a hinge. I don't know if you guys can see the molding there, but it does go up and down. We've got, I'll take the cape back off real quick. Ab crunch, hip pivot, thigh pivot under the sash. I'll show that to you guys real quick. It's there. There's the line. Okay, you guys see that. We've got shin pivot on this pig, which is super cool. I don't know if the other one has it. I gotta look. I think it does, but anyway, we've got shin pivot, which is neat. Foot pivot, ankle pivot. Arms are pretty standard. Like I said, they didn't do the molding on here, so it's not a mold like a puffed out molded piece like on the other figure. We've got double hinged elbows. Guys, the wrists go up and down with the pivot, as you guys can see, up and down. They do turn as well. Bicep pivot, shoulders, pretty standard. All right, guys, so that's our Doctor Strange. I don't want this video to run too much longer because it's 9:37 and I gotta go live with our drawing pretty soon, and I want to start the upload on this one. So thanks for taking a look at these figs. I'm going to preview what we're going to be giving away in 2 weeks. I will open up the giveaway post as soon as the other video goes live, but we will take a look at it real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, a big giveaway. We're going to keep it open for an extra long time because it's so huge. I've got a 10-inch Tyrannosaurus Rex from Jurassic World here from Target, the Funko Pop. It's pretty cool. You guys have responded better to the Funko Pop giveaways than the Marvel Legends giveaways. So I'm going to keep unboxing Legends because that's what I'm buying. But that's a super cool figure. I almost bought him to put him on the shelf with Sauron up there. But yeah, so anyway, we're going to be giving away this fig. You guys know the drill. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, check them out. Like and follow if you guys can. Subscribe to the YouTube channel is kind of what I want more than anything. Leave comments, talk to me, ask me about figures. If you guys want to know what figures I'm buying next, we're looking at the Kingpin wave. Well, we're not going to be looking at it. Those are the figures that I have on the way next. I do have a couple of other figures we're going to be looking at later on next week before the giveaway. So we got an Iron Fist we're going to take a look at, as well as a Daredevil I talked about. So that's next week's, that's next week's episode. So guys, thanks for watching this one. Stay tuned, like I said, for the live drawing, which will go live at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Good luck to the winner, or good luck to our entrants, and we'll see you guys for the next episode. And like I said, like and subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and get ready to win this giant 10-inch T-Rex. All right, guys, have a good night. See you next episode.